welcome to today's video, $2 Tuesdays, where I'm giving my 2 cents on entrepreneur, momming, mompreneur. Today's video is going to be about 3 biggest mistakes I made in my entrepreneur journey regarding like the finances part. I was working my 9 to 5 and I didn't really have the time to go through and get everything straight as I should have, or I wasn't doing it as I was going along because I was working so many hours. I just want to share these 3 things so that you don't make these mistakes. Don't be me, don't be Wally. Let's go ahead and get into the first tip. But before I get into the first tip, this is regarding an online boutique that I started in 2021. Middle of the pandemic, I was like, I want to do an online boutique for plus size women, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. But these are 3 things that I did not take into account. 3 biggest things, because there was more things that I did not take into account, but these are the 3 biggest things that I didn't take into account when I was starting this online boutique. First thing is, I did not do enough research. Okay, I didn't research what it took to run an online boutique, marketing, pictures, none of that. I was just like, okay, I can make a website because I'm like IT tech. Oh, I got this, I can post pictures. I didn't like think about everything that went into it, and I didn't do any research as far as even looking up other online boutiques to see how they ran their online boutique. One of the biggest things that I didn't research was advertising, posing pics. I'm not necessarily the greatest at posing for pictures, so as I got into it and I was like trying to pose for my pictures, take pictures for advertising, I'm just I didn't like the way that I looked in the clothes all the time as far as the poses, and I didn't necessarily compare myself to other online boutiques or how they pose. It's just that I noticed it wasn't as good of quality as I would have liked. As I look at an online boutique and I'm like, oh, that's cute, I see how she poses, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I haven't got to that step. And at the time, I didn't have the time to actually learn or take time to even take those pictures, constantly learning those type of things. I just didn't do enough research about what it took to run an online boutique, advertising. I was just like, oh, I can buy the clothes, I can post them. I'm good at marketing and advertising. I had to learn how to write caption, how I was gonna draw those people to my business. I did a lot of posting in like Facebook groups and things like that, which I did sell clothing, and I had to like learn what was in style. I didn't even research about trends. I didn't research like the times of the year, like spring, summer, fall. It was just a disaster. It wasn't a disaster because I learned that it was not for me. Just because a failure, or it's not necessarily a failure because it didn't fail, I decided to not do it anymore because it was something that I didn't have the time to do and I didn't really like. Even though it didn't work out for me, a win is still a win because I learned a lot from it. So yeah. Second mistake I made was just jumping into it. My impulsiveness. And the impulsiveness can be good and bad. I'm a risk taker for most of the time. I'm a calculated risk taker. That's like weird because I overthink everything and I like talk a lot about it in my head. And I'm like, yeah, I this, and this, and I got this planned out and I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna just do it. That's exactly, I made one post on Facebook and I was like, I'm gonna have an online boutique. I want to start an online boutique for plus size women. And I just did it. Like, this goes into the first tip of not doing any research. I was just really impulsive about anything, didn't know what it took to have an online store. It was like my first time having an online store outside of like selling on Poshmark or eBay or something like that. And I'm business savvy, business oriented most definitely, but I did not take the time to just dive into it deeper. Very, very impulsive. I think when you want to have a business, a successful business, you do need to scale back that impulsiveness just to make sure that you are prepared for everything that you need to do to successfully run that business and grow that business. Your impulsiveness should be like 50-50 in my opinion. Don't be scared to do what you want to do and go for your dreams, but also be calculated and be prepared for what it's going to take to get to that dream. Third mistake I made was bookkeeping. Okay, as I said before, like, I was working really long hours, probably like 12 hours a day, on top of running this online boutique, on top of being a mom. I didn't track my expenses as I should. I'm getting off of work. I was doing local drop-offs. I wasn't tracking the miles there, miles back. I wasn't tracking, you know, the per cost for shipping, how much the bags cost, like a breakdown of really how much I was earning. My net profits, I'll say, just put it like that. I wasn't calculating my net profit. I wasn't calculating anything down to the T as I should have been, that I know how to do. And I think it kind of hurt me in the long run, probably because I could have a better picture of what I was actually earning from the boutique. But again, I just went ahead and dissolved it because I didn't really like I didn't like it, and I didn't have the time to do it at the time. Just went in a different direction, which I'm gonna discuss in a minute. I do have my coffee today, y'all. Still in the wine tumbler. It's a little warm, but it's okay. We making it do what it do. The tracking it of the expenses, it just, I didn't do it. I didn't. Luckily, when I was doing the online boutique, my items were shipped to me, but I just didn't track the expenses about, you know, the bags that I had to put it in, the bags that I had to ship them in, again, the dropping off and the mileage and all of that. And that's very important because that attributes to your bottom line, your net profits, revenue, all those type of things, which I'm not going to get into this video. As I was saying before, I ended up dissolving it because, again, it wasn't something that I wanted to do at the time, or I had the time to do, and I didn't want to do the research. I realized it wasn't something I was passionate about, and it wasn't my purpose. So I just dissolved it, and I actually turned it into something different. I kind of kept the name, but it was like BBV Attire Incorporated. So I dissolved the corporation and I created an LLC, BBV Attire and Things, with the Z at the end. Just did an online store. So I still sell my boutique items, but I also sell other things. My Linktree, it's in there for my Poshmark and eBay store, where if you want to see how I incorporated other things and started reselling just all types of things. I realized that was something better for me as far as the time that I had, because I can post, price, and go from there. I do still need to go on my bookkeeping, which in a couple of weeks I am going to be resigning from my job. I'm so excited about that. I'm going to be working on YouTube and just my dream, my purpose full time, and working on my eBay store. So I'm definitely going to do a video about that and how I've come to that point. But I'm going to be on it this year about my bookkeeping. Just stay tuned for all of the goodies and that I will be sharing. And next week's video is going to be about a simple guide where I will be sharing 5 tips to be an entrepreneur, a mom, things that you can do to be successful even as you're starting off. So definitely hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and the tips, and hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when next week's video comes out. Thanks for tuning in for today's video. Feel free to stick around and check out this playlist on more entrepreneur tips.